All right, there you're going to see a notification of that. Just acknowledge that so you know. So I apologize for the rough start, and so you guys have probably been having a terrific conversation without me, which is great. So did you come up with 5 things? Because there's a second part to that. I want
Yes.
you, I want you to, and I would share with you, I think I've got 4. I think mine are faith, family, friends, community partnering. I think that's where I had, I might have had 4 instead of 5, but uh, what I want you to do is look at those 5 and now assume that you can only have 4 of those things. Pick 4 out of those 5. And you can probably guess what the next part's going to be. I want you to now pick 3 of those things. Now, if you could only have 3 of them. Now, if you get to that point, pick 2 of them.
Okay, Dennis, you're making this hard.
I remember doing this exercise when I was in youth group. Actually, was running a youth group for junior high school kids. And I remember coming out of the exercise because it was the youth pastor was leading it, and I thought, oh my goodness, I don't know if I can do this, and as you can guess, I'm going to ask you to get down to picking only one of those things. It's very, very challenging, isn't it?
It
Hi,
definitely
Casey.
is.
Casey, it said we were recording, just so you know.
It is. Thank you. I just checked.
All right, good enough, ma'am. We will.
Thank you.
And
Continue
wrapping
on.
at noon? Still wrapping at noon?
Yeah, I'm going to probably do like a 10-minute reminder, just so
Gotcha.
everyone knows.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you. All right. Now, the measure of this is not to make you suffer terribly about these choices. I ended up with mine as my faith ended up as the 1, but it felt really uncomfortable thinking I would have to give up family or friends or give up whatever those other items were on the list. And obviously, we as far as we know, we don't have to make those choices, but it's meant to kind of have you focus on those things that are more important to you and how important they are. And I want you to think about this is when you compare your fear of public speaking to your fear of not being able to advocate for those things that are the most important things in your life, which is worse? That uncomfortable level of thinking you didn't do all you could for those things that you care most about, or the fear that you might maybe not say something the right way, or maybe you'll be anxious and say the wrong thing or offend somebody or whatever. So, kind of putting them together, which is more important? Are you willing to kind of deal with some of the anxiety and the fear and the discomfort in order to speak up about those things that you really care about? Because I do think what you guys were saying earlier is true, is that the passion that you have, the causes that you might want to support are really so much more important than those things that you might be concerned about or feel uncomfortable doing, right? So consider this. I want you to think of something as a cause. Now, causes are a little easier than thinking you might have to give up family or friends, but think of that thing that might be pressing on your heart, and consider how important it is. And is it more important to speak up about that than it is to be uncomfortable speaking up about anything but about this particular thing? And I'm going to give you a couple other quotes that I ran across. And one of them was John Ford, who said, "You can speak well if your tongue can deliver the message of your heart." So that almost the passion will drive your ability to speak up in a good way, in a more effective way. And the other thing is, I love this, when you find quotes about things that you're looking for, there's a gentleman, he's referred to as Cato the Elder, as to distinguish him from Cato the Younger, which was also a famous Roman. He was a Roman historian. So his great grandson was famous too, but he was somewhere living in 200 BC. And he had this to say, very, very, I think, clear and crisp. He said, grasp the subject, the words will follow. So the idea of grasping the subject, and grasping is going to involve a number of different things. It's going to lead us into a conversation around some of the specifics of public speaking, kind of what I would refer to as the craft of public speaking. What are those things you might want to focus on in trying to deliver a message that might make you feel a little bit better about delivering the message? And you know what the first thing is going to be? I don't know if any of you are familiar with either the Boys or the Girl Scouts, but I know in the Boy Scouts, there was this motto, and it was always be prepared, right? And the reality of speaking is being prepared. What does it take to be prepared? How long do those really great speakers who we look at and we marvel at, you look at Martin Luther King and you say, oh, to be able to speak and say things like, I have a dream, and to inspire so many people to that cause, in his case of ending racism. What did that take? Well, he didn't just think of it at that moment. He prepared for that. That took days and probably months in his mind before he started to even write it down. The same thing is true of Abraham Lincoln. When he came up with the Emancipation Proclamation, it probably took months. And actually, the truth of it is, in history, the first time he presented to his cabinet, about 6 months before he presented it, they weren't interested. They were bored. They didn't think it was something that he should be meddling around with. And it took him another several months before he got it to a point where he was comfortable enough sharing it with in our sense, in this country. So being prepared is critical. And Mark Twain was famous for saying all sorts of witty things. But one of the things that he said was, it usually takes me more than 3 weeks to prepare a good impromptu speech. Obviously, he was saying he doesn't do impromptu speeches, he prepares for them. And so preparing, getting comfortable with that subject matter, getting comfortable with your cause, because as you know, if you want to convince someone of something, you have to first convince them that you're a credible speaker, that you have something to say, that there's some experience you have, and that there's some organization in what you're doing that's going to have people pay a little bit more attention. Again, I'm going to emphasize this multiple times. Public speaking is not about being a perfect speaker. Nobody is a perfect speaker. We all make mistakes. We all stumble. We all forget pieces of it. But the critical thing is, if we do a little bit more in preparing for what we're going to say, and trying to rehearse a little bit and finding some opportunities to test some of the things out, then you're going to have more of a chance of being successful. You'll be less likely to be afraid. You'll be less likely to be uncomfortable. Now, let me also say this. No matter what you do in speaking to prepare, you're going to feel nervous, because your message is important to you. Your cause is important to you. The things you're trying to say to people are important to you. And so you do want to say it in a way that's going to make a difference to that audience. But again, if you focus so much on being perfect, you're going to miss the important substantive things that you need to say. One of the famous quotes, I don't know where this one comes from, but it was saying, let's not make perfection the enemy of the good. You want to do some good by getting your cause out there. You don't have to be perfect in order to do that good. You can be a human about things. You can make mistakes, and people will relate to that, because very few people embrace public speaking. So they're going to be impressed that you're just up there willing to do it. There's going to be support for you just being able to stand up and say, I have something I need to tell you. I have something important I want to say to you. So being prepared is really important. Now, here's something that people wonder about a lot, I think, is, do you memorize a speech? Do you read a speech? or do you do something in the middle? Now, I have to tell you, one of my great failures in speaking was I wrote an essay, and it was a high school history class, and one of the assignments was to write a basic speech. And I did a good job on that, and it got me to the next level where they wanted me to read it in front of the, or they wanted me to say it in front of the class. I tried to memorize it, and I'm not a good memorizer. And I got halfway in the middle of it, and I totally lost my place. And I was so embarrassed that I didn't know what to do. I got stuck. I froze. I sat back down, totally humiliated. And it showed me one of the lessons that's important for me. I can't memorize word for word things very well. Now, if you ask me to repeat the lyrics in a song from 1970, I can do it. I could tell you most of the lyrics from that song this morning, Lovely Day by Bill Withers. I loved it, right? But to memorize something that even I had written was impossible, is impossible for me to do. So what I would suggest is, if you can memorize, that's terrific, and you're comfortable doing that, rehearse yourself, that's fine. If you need to read a speech, that's okay too. But one of the things you need to do, and we'll talk a little bit more about the audience toward the end, is you need to make eye contact periodically with the audience you're speaking to. So while you may be reading it, you need to be able to look up and make eye contact periodically, so that sometimes you look up and you notice your audience. You need to kind of watch what they're doing, how they're reacting to you. Are they hearing what you're saying? Are they paying attention? And sometimes you might find there are things you can do to make them refocus on it, like by pausing, or by raising your voice about a point, saying, I don't know if you heard this last sentence, but I want to repeat it. And it grips them back into it. But that's another thing. If you're comfortable reading it, that's totally fine. But just make sure you know that you can't just read it. It's not just somebody, because then someone else who's not even connected to your message could read the message for you. My guess is that's not going to be satisfying for you. To hand your speech to someone to make your points isn't going to feel good, because you want to do it. You care about these things. So when you're trying to think about how you prepare for things, for me, I can't read things well either, because I got to bury my face like this in order to see it that close, right? So for me, I do an outline. I have a message that I want to convey, and then I have the major points that I'm going to make. That's how I prepared for this training. Is I have a bunch of bulleted points, a couple things I'm going to read, but for the most part, I'm going to go through that in a way that's organized. And here's the other side of it. You don't need to make it overly complicated. So whether you memorize, whether you read it as you wrote it because you took a lot of care, or whether you write an outline to keep you on track, it's whatever works best for you, whatever you're comfortable doing. And the audience will adjust to you. They won't mind if you read it. Like I said, if you make occasional eye contact, they won't mind if you've got a couple cards that have an outline on it that you're using. They'll assume that's a normal thing to do. So you need to be comfortable that those things are supporting you in delivering your message. They're part of your resources, and they're totally fine to use. So think about that. Now, the next thing is really important. Keep it simple. You can't lose your audience. You might have a lot of things you want to say about your message and your cause, but you really want to keep it basic. You don't want to make it so complicated. You can't give them all of what they need to hear about your cause. You need to give them what the important things are in order to get them to pay attention and maybe be hungry to ask you for the details, because you can always give people more details when they want to follow up with you. But your job in front of an audience is to make them hungry, to make them thirsty, because you're thirsty, you're hungry, you're passionate about what you want to say, and that's what you want them to be. So give them more of that. Give them more of the repetitive messages. There's nothing wrong with repeating your message. In fact, a good preacher will tell you their message is to give you no more than 3 major points and to keep repeating them in a way that one of the ways you present it are going to register with someone. So somebody, if you're talking about, for example, sacrifice, someone may hear the illustration that you use about somebody who sacrificed something. Somebody may hear it in your words, or they may hear it in a quote that you're using, but you don't really necessarily care whether they respond to all 3 of those things. You only care that they respond to at least one of them. So you give the same basic message over and over using different ways, a quote, a story, some part of your life that's important. So keep it simple. And Franklin Roosevelt said this about speaking: be sincere. So we've talked about that. It's from your heart. Be brief and be seated, right? You don't have to go on forever. No one really wants to hear a 4-hour speech or a 3-hour speech. They don't even want to hear an hour speech. I don't know about you, but State of the Unions are important, but I don't get through more than 20 minutes of them. So for me, keep it briefer, keep it powerful by being brief, right? Keep it direct, keep it simple. You know, people don't need, like I said, everything. They just need the basics. They need you to tell them, why is it that you're up here talking to me? It's from the heart. So make sure you don't leave that behind. Make sure you focus on that. Winston Churchill was the Prime Minister of Britain during the Second World War, and it was really challenging. He had to rally people in his speeches, and he had to get them to understand how challenging it was. They were being bombed, I mean, literally bombed, and it was a dark time for Britain. It was a dark time for the world. And what he said about speaking was this: if you have an important point to make, don't try to be subtle or clever. Use a pile driver. Hit the point once, then come back and hit it again, then hit it a 3rd time, a tremendous whack. Basically just repeat. There's nothing wrong in a message with keep repeating the main point. You say it 3 times, people are 3 times as likely to hear what you're saying. They might miss it the first time, they might miss it the second time, but it's going to be hard for them to not hear your message if you repeat it at least 3 times in some way to say, this is what I care about. This is what I care about. And I'm going to come back to this toward the end. Kindness is a big thing for me. I'd love there to be world peace, but I don't know that I can deal with world peace. I've got to take it in manageable bites. So in my side of the way of thinking is I look at it and I say, I want to encourage people to be kind to each other. And in my mind, eventually, if enough of us are being kind with each other, we get the rest of the world to come along, one person at a time. So kindness is important. So I'm going to keep hitting that message that one person at a time is important. That one random act of kindness might not only change somebody's day, it might change the trajectory of their life. So keep it simple, repeat things. And then the other thing is Winston Churchill also said, broadly speaking, the short words are the best. Somebody who uses the word, I remember this was like the largest word that ever existed, anti-disestablishmentarianism. I have no idea what that word means, but you're never going to use it in a speech. People just aren't that interested in big fancy words. They're more interested in, again, the direct, clear, crisp words that you need. You don't need fancy words. You can show that you've got an education, nothing wrong with that. You can use certain words if they're appropriate, but shorter words are good, and keep them simple and keep them straightforward, right? And then the other side of it is, and this is a challenge for me, don't stray from what you're trying to convey to people. I have a tendency to be, ever watch that, I think, what was the movie, Up, where there's a dog in the movie who he says squirrel, and his head goes and turns to the right, squirrel, because he gets distracted too easily. When you're speaking about something that you care deeply about, you don't want to stray from it. You don't want to distract from it. So you might have a side story to tell somebody, but make sure it's always going to come back into where your main point is. Don't stray, don't get distracted. You'll dilute your message. You need to keep it on target, online. So be very clear, don't stray from your message. Benjamin Franklin has said, remember not only to say the right thing in the right place, but far more important still, to leave unsaid the wrong thing at the tempting moment. Sometimes you might get really full into what you're saying. Let's just say it's a political speech. I'm not a big fan because I think there's so much divisiveness in the world. But let's say you're speaking and you're trying to make a point, and all of a sudden you realize you can say something really unkind about the other side, right? If you do and you stray in that way and you say something that's unkind or just not fair or just out of the bounds, you distract from your message, and you don't need to go there. And so what he's saying is, don't be tempted by the quick, clever statement, the unkind thing you're going to say, the thing that's maybe a little bit unfair, even if it sounds funny or if it sounds witty or you're making a point. You get people distracted because just as many people will hear you and think, oh, you're being mean-spirited, and they'll focus on that instead of the message that you're trying to convey. I don't need to belittle the person I might be speaking in opposition to their view, because I can be kind and disagree with somebody. I can be kind and say my message. I don't have to be unkind. So just a reminder in that regard. The bottom line to this is as I get closer to the end of what I have to say is, you have such power in your knowledge, Sue, and in your knowledge, Liza, that it's amazing that we undersell ourselves all the time. You care about a topic, you probably read about it, you listen to other people. Listening is such a vital thing before you begin to talk. You would have tried to gather a lot of information, gotten a lot of experience, got a lot of knowledge, and when you share those things, you become automatically credible to the audience. You bring with you a lot of information. Oh, I got something on our screen here. I don't know what that is. Effective speaking. Somehow they're telling us we're in progress, which we know. I love technology. It drives me crazy, but I love it. Anyway, so when you're worried about speaking, carry that knowledge with you, that you have, to use an analogy, you have arrows in your quiver that you need to remind yourself about. You're not going against the enemy without things that you can use. Arrows that you're going to aim at your audience in a way to get them to appreciate it. You've got knowledge, you've got experience, you've got insight, and again, you care about the subject matter, and they will know that. They will know that because they will see it with you. You'll conquer your fear by embracing. Casey, can I apologize to the people in my group, because 12 o'clock rolled around and man, we weren't done.
No worries at all. We also started like 5-10 minutes late because it took so long to sort everyone. So we can totally have open discussions right now about the workshops. If anyone wants to share something they learned, they can either pipe in, put in the chat, raise their hand, whatever you guys would like to do. I'd love to hear something about the rooms. Calvina, go ahead.
I would just like to say that I had an amazing time in my breakout room. Jensen and Chris and them, they were amazing. Simone, they were amazing. They taught us about unity. We did some virtual exercises, and it was a great experience for me as I'm learning about unity in my community. And I just had a great time in there today. I got on actually to support Tiffany. I didn't know that, I thought I was going to hear her speak, but, I'll hear her speak. I'm on the same bureau as her, so I know that I'll have many opportunities to hear her speak. I'm part of the Speakers Bureau myself, so I know me and Tiffany will get to hear each other speak on many of occasions. And I'm just so grateful for all the resources that I heard today. And I will be reaching out in my community for some of those resources. And I just had an amazing time today. And I just really enjoyed the video that they made, that they showed us. It was really amazing. And I'm just so grateful for my city, I had my son here, and I've been here practically my entire life, and I just love the city of Brockton, the city of champions we call ourselves, and I'm just so grateful for the unity that I gained today. And I thank you all, Jensen and Chris and Simone. I forgot the other lady's name, but I just appreciate you all so much. Thank you.
Pleasure's all ours. It was Elsa.
Miss Elsa, thank you all. I appreciate you all so much.
Thank you, Miss Catalina.
Calvin, thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. We have a chat. Liza said, in a world where you can be anything and within preparing a speech, be kind, be sincere, be brief, and be seated. Great information and lots of wonderful quotes. I jotted down and will keep for reference. Thank you to Dennis. Does anyone else have anything to share about any of the workshops?
I was in the workshop with Alan for Mainsprings and Father Bills, and I just wanted to say that like I was amazed at the various different programs that they have available in targeting homeless or those that are at risk of being homeless, and the secure jobs program that they have available right now. I think is amazing. The fact that they follow their clients, you know, for a 2-year time frame to make sure that they are successful and make sure that all of the needs surrounding having employment are being met. He discussed, you know, they have temporary childcare vouchers available, transportation vouchers available to ensure that their clients are meeting their goals. So I just think that the programs that they have available and the future works that they have in the mix that we heard today also, I'm just very excited to see what comes from this. And I want to tell him, you know, keep doing the work. I think it's great. Families have to have. Homelessness is also a basic thing, housing and jobs. If you don't have those and they don't go hand in hand, I feel like the family can't find that success. So Alan, great work. Please keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much, Tiffany. Anybody else? Christy, Diana, do you want to share a little bit about your workshop? See you raised hand.
Hi, yeah. So we presented on finding well-being and doing a lot of self-care tips and talking a lot about mental wellness and well-being in this time. And so there are a couple of things that I just wanted to state to the larger group. So the first thing is we are planning a large citywide event on May 22nd called We Outside, Not Your Average Wellbeing Event. And so it's going to be a really fun event. So there'll be more information to come that will be on our website and all of our different social media. I'll drop that information in the chat. But the other thing is we are going to be holding a session on April 11th where we'll be certifying people in youth mental health first aid. And we actually have a few seats still available. And so we would just like to offer to anybody who would be interested in being certified in youth mental health first aid, if you're available on April 11th in joining that class, we would like to offer that free of charge to the folks who are joining here today at the leadership conference. So we have a few slots left available, so it would be first come, first serve. But if you're interested, please let us know. Diana's dropping information into the chat right now. We would love to have you, or if you would like to learn more about what it is to see if you're interested in it, we'd be happy to have a conversation about that as well.
Thank you so much. Definitely interested in that event you're coming up. I wonder if we could get in on it with the Family Center if you guys need anything. Let's see. Gregory, do you want to share something about your workshop?
Sure. My workshop was a little scattered, but I think we got a lot of information, just sort of talking about the Rose Conservatory and some of the work we're doing in the community, some of the history of the Rose Conservatory and sort of where we want to go. And anyone, we're always looking for volunteers at the Rose Conservatory to come in and speak to some of our kids. Right now we have a social emotional counselor that comes by a couple of times a week to meet with the kids. We have a substance abuse counselor from Teen Challenge come in and speak with the kids. And we have a lot of other things going on. So we're all over social media, ways you can help, instruments, anything like that is always helpful. And I think the main thing we got, or the main thing I wanted to really touch on in my workshop, was really being able to provide opportunities and resources for our underprivileged kids in the city. As I spoke about in my workshop, I spent over a decade working in independent, somewhat privileged school systems. And so completely recognizing that the only thing that separates our kids from getting the same opportunities as towns that are a 10, 15-minute drive down the highway are funds and people. And so if that is the only thing that is keeping a lot of these opportunities away from our kids in this city, I believe it's our job to do the best we can to change that. And that's really what we're doing. Being a Brockton native, I am very familiar with the processes our young people go through in this city, from elementary school until beyond high school. And so really trying to change the face of the high school music department in the very small way that I can, getting in at the ground level with kids starting in second grade, is really the driving force behind the Rose Conservatory. So I think our session was great, and I'm willing to speak with anyone who wants to help out in any way. So again, thank you for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to share.
Thank you so much. Joni, Lenny, Yvette, would you like to share something about your workshop?
Hi, folks. We talked about the importance of really understanding where behavior starts with young children, and talked about opportunities for workshops and activities that can be provided across the community in multiple languages for families, parents, guardians, educators who work with young children. And Gregory, I think our programs kind of stop when yours begin. We really look at that birth through second or third grade piece as the development stage, the development stages. But it was great to present with my colleagues, Lenny and Yvette, and I'll just turn it over to you two, and you can talk about your programs.
Well, I was just going to piggyback off of what you said, and just what Gregory was saying, that the workshop, goes along with how every child needs and deserves a champion, and, an adult who won't give up on them. And, that's the critical piece in knowing how to help them along the way, to give them the tools, and also give parents or guardians the tools to help the children grow. It's kind of cliche, but the children are our future, and whatever opportunities that we can provide for them to help them grow and thrive is very important.
Thank you so much. Yvette, do you have anything? I'm trying to spotlight you, but it's not letting me.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I don't have anything to add. I guess it was just, we had a very small group, but just being able to share the importance of positive relationships and building that with between adult and child is very important in the foundation of their social and emotional development. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Tiffany, would you like to share something about your workshop?
Hi, can you hear me?
Of course.
Okay. Yes, thank you everyone who did come into my workshop. I know that there were so many workshops going on right, especially those that were talking about, you know, simple, the same thing that I've been through, homelessness. So unfortunately, I know that we can only pick one, but hopefully that the recording that you all can have access to, you can be able to go back and hear some of my story, and you can see of all the things that I've been through, from, you know, losing my job, losing my car, going into homeless shelter, hotel, motel shelter, diving from all of that, going through mental instability, only having one support system due to not having my significant other with me because of the rules that there were at the time, getting all the way to that, being admitted to a psych hospital, getting into all that only to lose everything in a fire and just get from all that. So yeah, it's a lot. And all the titles, advocate, mentor, speaker, business owner, wouldn't make me who I am today if those things didn't happen, unfortunately. And I'm here now, living proof that we all can get to where we are mentally. We have the skills, we have the motivation, we just have to get there. And that's what, if you do need my contact information, I'm definitely just a click away that you can consult with me, 30 minutes or whatever, for free. No need to pay. If you have anything that you want to share with me, if I can be of a support for anybody, as a mom of 5, I definitely know how it is. So if anyone would love to do that, I could put my information in the chat, and you can book some time if you want to talk or chat. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. Did I get everyone? I know we heard a little tidbit about Dennis. Dennis, do you want to just share something with everyone about your workshop?
Sure, I'd say less about the workshop and more about maybe ending. We're in a world that's going through war, and it's awful. And we've got our neighborhoods that are going through wars where we're inflicting pain and suffering on our neighbors who are from diverse backgrounds. There's just so many things that aren't right. We have voices that we can raise. We have causes that we stand for. We have experience, and we have knowledge and insights that are valuable. And I want to encourage everybody to consider yourselves as our community's most valuable resources. You know, you have services, you have opportunities, but you serve as opportunities and resources for other people. I know this is going to go on probably more than a couple minutes, but Chris Christopherson is a great songwriter. And if you don't know who he is, he wrote a lot of country music, but he also wrote Me and Bobby McGee that was made famous by Janis Joplin. He wrote Sunday Morning Coming Down that was made famous by Johnny Cash. And he's just a prolific songwriter, but he wrote a song that you might not have ever heard of called Here Comes That Rainbow Again. And this takes a little bit of history, but they used to refer to kids and people who were migrating in the Dust Bowl days of the Depression across this country looking for opportunities. They referred to the people who were leaving Oklahoma for better prosperity in the West Coast, and they referred to them unkindly as Okies. So that was like almost a derogatory word. So there was this song that he wrote, that Chris Christopherson wrote, based on a scene from The Grapes of Wrath that captured that time. But it went like this. The scene was a small roadside cafe. The waitress was sweeping the floor. 2 truck drivers drinking their coffee. 2 Okie kids by the door. How much is them candies, they asked her. How much have you got? She replied. We've only a penny between us. Dem's 2 for a penny, she lied. And the chorus of the song goes, and the day grew heavy with thunder, with the smell of the rain on the wind. It looks like here come those humans, here comes that rainbow again. And the story continued that one truck driver said to the waitress after the kids went outside, those candies ain't 2 for a penny. "What's it to you?" she replied. The truck drivers finished their coffee, nodded and waved goodbye. And the waitress said, "Hey, you left too much money." And the truck driver said, "So what's it to you?" They reply. Basically, in our world that struggles with world war, and our communities that struggle with violence against each other, we can be the change agents offering that moment of kindness that might change the direction of someone's life. And I would say, don't waste those efforts lightly. Applaud yourselves for all the good things you do. I am so thrilled that we have a family center as a resource for this community. I'm so proud of the staff for what they do every day. And I'm so proud of all of you who can be change agents in our world. And so thank you for allowing me to go on much too long. Sorry about that, Casey.
No worries at all. Thank you so much, Dennis. We always love when you speak. So I want to share the results of the poll from earlier, and I'm going to launch another poll. 14 people answered the poll earlier. Some have attended 2 to 4 conferences. 8 have said that it was their first one. And then 1 person said they attended last year. People heard about it from email, newsletter, the magazine, Facebook, from one of the workshop hosts or other. And then what made them interested in the leadership conference was a combination of all of them: the workshop choices, the keynote speaker, the giveaways, and the resources. So I'm going to launch another poll. I enjoyed this conference. Highly agree and agree. 7 out of 10 for highly and 3 out of 10 for agree. Learned something new. Highly agree, and 1 neutral. Interested in attending a future conference, hands down agree. I would refer a friend, colleague, or family member. Again, hands down agree or highly agree. I love it. Thank you so much. There's going to be another survey with ideas for next year's conference. We're always looking for new topics, new speakers, different people in the community for resources. We're hoping and most likely going to have next year's conference in person. So I'm very excited to get back to that. So we will have our resource tables, we will have lunch, we will have our speakers in the auditorium and in the different rooms. Hopefully we can do our collaborations with the dental cleaning that we usually do in Starlines for the haircuts for kids. So we're hoping to jump back into our usual conference business. So definitely complete the survey that I'm going to email out, because I'd love to hear from you guys what we should do for next year, how we should approach it. It's really a community effort to plan these. These are some of our giveaway items, and this is not all of them. The list is correct, but this is not all of them pictured. Some of them I still have yet to receive, and then some of them I don't physically have on me today. So we have donations from CFCE, children's take-home bags with books. We have 2 bracelets from Love and Light LLC. Love and Light is a nonprofit organization. It was born in the middle of the pandemic, and it supports small businesses while giving proceeds to causes in need. So they pick a cause, and then all of their proceeds for that term goes to that cause. We have a literacy bag from Sabora. We have a pouch and keychain from Kennedy's Creations. We have 2 hand printed signs from me, because I'm a very crafty person, and I have them in the other PowerPoint, so I'll show you guys a picture. We have Love and Hope Scrabble tiles that can be hung on the wall, and I just want to show you guys really quick. They're quite, my background, they're kind of big, so you can kind of see where it's maybe blurring. Yeah. So they go on a wall and they're just put together wherever you would like them. Color Match by Christy donated hair bows and a wristlet. And then Dean Designs donated a gift basket full of miscellaneous items. So I'm going to jump back into the PowerPoint. So these are the 2 signs. And again, more pictures. And we are going to spin the wheel for giveaways. So I put everybody's names in while we were in our breakout rooms, took attendance. So you have to be here to get it. As with last year, these items will be available for pickup at the Family Center. I will arrange a day and time with you over email, and you guys can let me know. And you'll just be able to call, say I'm here, and you can grab it. So we are going to do the Pinnacle bundle first, because Pinnacle donated, I didn't even spotlight them in that magazine. They donated a water bottle, a vaccine card holder and pop socket, a Stomp Out COVID t-shirt, PPE, and at-home COVID test. So you get the whole bundle. So we're gonna spin and see who gets it. Chris. Congrats to Chris. Is Chris here? Perfect. Chris is still here. Okay. So I will email you and let you know. Next, we have CFCE take-home bags. Joni, how many bags were you doing?
We can do a half a dozen bags.
Oh boy, perfect. 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we're gonna spin 6 times for that. Let's see. Helen, is Helen still here?
Yes, I am.
Perfect. So Helen, you get 1.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Spinning again. This is the most exciting part. Just kidding. I love the workshops. Tiffany. Tiffany, that'll be an easy pickup.
Yes, thank you.
Liza. Is Liza still here?
I am, thanks.
Perfect. Congrats.
Thank you.
And again, make sure you guys' email is in the chat. If you put it in earlier, I have it. If not, definitely drop it in so I can be sure to communicate with you. If not, my email will be in the chat as well. Oh, we're gonna spin again. Joni won her own bag.
Definitely spin again.
Patty. I think I should, yeah, I'm removing names. I didn't know that was what that was. Perfect. Maria. And Gregory. So those are our 6 winners. Helen, Tiffany Foster, Liza, Patty, Maria, and Gregory all won one of CFCE's take-home bags. Thank you so much. Okay. Oh, someone must have their mic on. Sabora donated a literacy bag, and I'm so excited for that. It has some really cool stuff in it. So we're gonna spin for that. We might just go a couple minutes over. We just have like 7 more things. Jensen. Okay. Next is the pouch and keychain from Kennedy's Creations. Oh, I didn't remove her, so we'll spin again. Diana.
Yay!
I love the genuine excitement.
Thank you.
One of the hand painted wooden signs. We'll do the one with the tulips first. Waddell. Oh, did I put your name in twice?
You probably forgot to put mine and mix up with him because I don't see mine there. That could be.
Oh, okay. Yep. Okay. So hold on. Easy fix. And the other, the purple and blue one. Elsa. Okay, we have the Love and Hope Scrabble tiles sign. Claudia.
Woo! Thank you.
The hair bows and wristlet. To Joni.
Oh, thank you.
And then we have 3 more, and then we're all set to go. Just a couple minutes over, not bad. The Dean Designs gift basket. To Alan. And then we have the 2 Love and Light bracelets. So I'm going to do the white rubber one first.
What did I win, Casey?
Dean Designs gift basket.
Awesome.
So it'll have miscellaneous things in it.
Awesome.
Yvette gets the white one. And then the beaded one.
Is it a mystery basket?
Simone. Perfect. Thank you, everyone. Make sure I have your emails.
I think I'm doing a phone meeting with them.
So I just want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you to our speakers, our staff, our community spotlight nominees, MCTV for helping us reformat these videos afterwards. And thank you for Sabora for their support throughout this because they helped to plan it. Any questions, you can absolutely email me. I'm going to drop my email in the chat right now, along with the website to the Family Center and the website to the South Shore Community Magazine. Speakers, participants, you can always submit content about your kind of organization, what you guys do. We take resources because every workshop here is more so of a resource than it would be an advertisement. That's what we search for when we're looking for speakers. So you can absolutely reach out and send articles whenever you would like. Definitely let us know if you have any resources that you think we should know about, any partnerships you think we should make. Like I said, we recently did a car seat class. That was fantastic. We were able to get 14 car seats to families in need. We actually, good news, are going to be doing it again on, it is June 9th. So I'm very excited for that. I didn't get to share that news with Tracy or the Family Center team yet, but we're going to try and do that as a quarterly event. That way families in need. So anything that you can think of, if you know any organizations that are looking to partner with centers such as ourselves, let us know. If you need any resources or if any families need resources, please let us know. And then here in the chat is my email and the 2 websites. And then everyone here is going to get an Uber Eats code you're going to receive the South Shore Leadership Resource Guide, a link to the 2022 Spring South Shore Community Magazine, and the resource guide that goes along with that, because we update a resource guide quarterly as well. A survey about the conference to help with next year's planning. And definitely, like I said, reach out, anything you guys need. We are here. We are open 9 to 4, Monday through Thursday, and then 9 to 2 on Friday. We are appointment only, but you can absolutely make an appointment in advance. Definitely reach out. Does anyone else have anything to add? Thumbs up from Dennis.
Good job hosting, Casey.
Thank you so much.
Great job, Casey. Thank you.
Awesome
Thank
work.
you.
Thank you,
I'm
Casey.
excited to see all these workshops.
Thank you, MCTV, Marshall Community Television. Thank you.
They will be available probably within the next 3 weeks. So definitely keep an eye out on social media. It will be announced.
Great day. Thank you again.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful
you.
day. Look
Thank
forward
you.
to an
Thank you,
email.
Casey. Bye,
Awesome job.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Have a great weekend.
You
You
as
as well. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.